Welcome to this episode of Best of America by Horseback. I'm Tom Seay. On this episode, we're going to take you riding in the Shawnee National Forest. We'll be staying with friends at the Little Lusk Trail Lodge and Campground in Stonefort, Illinois. We were here many years ago for a trails conference, and we're happy to return to meet the new owners, Jamie and Deborah Poe. They only acquired Little Lusk in the spring of 2019. We'll talk with Jamie and Deborah about the improvements and expansion they have already made to the campground and their plans for the future. Little Lusk Campground sits adjacent to the Shawnee National Forest, giving their guests access to over 400 miles of equestrian trails right out of the campground. We will show you some of the trails that go to the Secret Canyon and many more unique sites and rock formations in the National Forest. Del Shields performed cowboy music each evening. We had a chance to visit with many old friends and we made many new ones. It was just a beautiful fall weekend at Little Lusk Trail Lodge and Campground, and we can't wait to share it with you as well as the beautiful riding trails in the Shawnee National Forest. Sit back, relax, and watch this episode of Best of America by Horseback.
On this episode of Best of America by Horseback, Tom Seay and Del Shields are visiting the Little Lusk Trail Lodge and Campground in the Shawnee National Forest in Stonefort, Illinois. Guests at Little Lusk have access to the equestrian trails in the Shawnee National Forest right out of the campground. The forest has over 400 miles of trails designated as hiking and equestrian trails. A popular ride out is to Secret Canyon, a series of rock formations that encompass an area of the forest, creating a canyon. The ride in and out of the canyon goes past beautiful streams that were flowing full, creating cascading waterfalls along the way, due to over 4 inches of rain they received 2 days before our ride.
This is Secret Canyon. It's been here from the beginning of time. So good destination point from all the different campgrounds in this area. It's about a 4-hour ride from each one, 2 to 3 to 4-hour ride. A lot of people meet here for lunch. We have the tie lines here where people can tie up their horses and just have a good fellowship and have good lunches. And it's said that the Native Americans used to camp out here. It was a good place for them to camp and then to leave and go find their prey and their food, and it's called Secret Canyon. This is the Lusk Creek Wilderness Area. This is probably one of my favorites. I love Saltpeter Cave, Owl's Bluff. Owl's Bluff is just a large bluff you ride up to and look over and you can just see as far as the eye can see. I just like them all. I like Hart's Bluff. Garden of the Gods is here. It is a hiker's trail for the most part, but there are horse equestrian trails down below Garden of the Gods. It is probably one of the premier destinations in southern Illinois for people to come and visit. The Garden of the Gods, you'll see the Camel Rock, you'll see the Chimney Rock. It's a 1/4 to 1/2 mile walking trail for people to enjoy and for kids to enjoy. And then there's Rim Rock. Rim Rock was developed by the CCC, and you walk down between the rocks, and it's just fantastic to go in between the rocks, and it's like a maze. And then you can walk on to what they call Pounds Hollow, and it is a swimming destination. We have Bellsmith Springs. Bellsmith Springs is a hiking trail instead of equestrian, and that is the local swimming hole. And the people jump off the rocks at Bellsmith Springs into the spring and go swimming. So you'll see a lot of the locals there. And then Jackson Falls is gorgeous. Jackson Falls is a huge fall, and it has equestrian trails all around the bottom of Jackson Falls, and you ride and look up. As long as I'm on the back of a horse in the middle of the woods enjoying God's creation, I'm happy.
Riders gathered by the event barn and arena for the national anthem, sung by Sharon Holt. Presentation of the American flags by Austin Poe and Lindsay Rupagus, and a blessing of the ride by Galen Biassy. We had nearly 100 riders go with us out of Little Lusk Trail Lodge and Campground to ride the trails in this expansive national forest.
Shawnee National Forest is around 250,000 acres, so it's a big place. But right here behind camp, you can get to places like Indian Kitchen, Secret Canyon, which is absolutely beautiful. Got a little waterfall. You got Saltpeter Cave, Hart's Bluff is a big rock formation. Lots and lots of creeks with flowing water. Everybody always likes to ride through the creek and see the flowing water. So there's all kinds of stuff like that to see. There's a gentleman has camped here for probably 10 years, told me the other day, he said, I still hadn't seen all of it. You know, so it's a lot to see back there.
We'll be back with more from Little Lusk Trail Lodge and Campground in the Shawnee National Forest when Best of America by Horseback returns. Seay and Del Shields are visiting the Little Lusk Trail Lodge and Campground in the Shawnee National Forest, located in Stonefort, Illinois. Jamie and Deborah Poe hosted a meal for the riders Saturday evening. Jamie welcomed the guests and was very pleased with the turnout and their support.
But we couldn't do it without folks like y'all showing up and supporting us, and we truly appreciate it. I promise you, you can ask anybody that was here camping if they ever thought they would see. I've heard 89, I've heard 98. My dad was a preacher, I do some preaching, so we're going with 105. Horses going up the hill today, I'll promise you, nobody that camped here back then thought they'd ever see that many horses right out of this camp at one time.
Angie Carter spoke about the work the Backcountry Horsemen of America do in our national forests and parks, and particularly the work the Shawnee chapter contributes here in Illinois, in the Shawnee National Forest. Angie and volunteers in her chapter contribute many, many hours a year, maintaining and keeping over 400 miles of trails open to equestrians. Del Shields entertained Friday evening around the campfire and Saturday evening after dinner, where he loves to get the guests involved.
Oh, sweet Caroline, ba, ba, ba. I've never seen so good, so good, so good, so good. I haven't been time, ba, ba, ba.
This is a song I wrote a number of years ago after starting to travel with Tom and Pat and be with them on all of these journeys for the past 16 years. It's called The Best of America.
She's a land full of beauty, full of dreams for you and me. A land of our heroes who've kept our liberty. There's a banner flying o'er her, made of colors that don't run. To see her raised each morning with the rising of the sun. Here her people stand together as one nation, under God. We'll fight for right with all our might to protect her fertile sod. So don't tell me that she's broken. I'll have to prove you wrong. She's made up of a people standing proud and strong. I've seen the best of America cross the prairies to her sea. Rode the trails upon the mountaintops, touched her swamps, her live oak trees. I've seen the bright lights of her cities, felt the meadows' gentle breeze. And the best of America is her people standing free. You see, America is her people, and they're shaped by years of history. And I'm proud to call this place my home, and her people, family. Now she may fall on hard times.
We'll be back with more from Little Lusk Trail Lodge and Campground in the Shawnee National Forest when Best of America by Horseback
Through the
returns.
strife, I've seen the best of...
Tom Seay and Del Shields are visiting Little Lusk Trail Lodge and Campground in the Shawnee National Forest located in Stonefort, Illinois. New owners Jamie and Deborah Poe have been working on improvements and expanding the campground since they purchased it in the spring of 2019.
Jamie, what were you thinking and how did you break it to her?
I came in one night and I said, what do you think about buying a campground? And she said, whatever you want to do. And I think she thought I was joking.
What can they expect when they come here?
Well, we have spacious campsites. You know, they're not cramped in together, and they have water, electric at every site. We have some that have sewer as well. We have the lodge that has rooms, and so we can rent those if you don't have a living quarters trailer. And we've got the stalls, but it's a beautiful campground, and it's very spacious, like I said, and lots of trails to ride and learn. And
3 fishing ponds.
3 fishing ponds, an event barn.
We have permanent campsites. We have around 55 now. We're adding 15 more. We can accommodate around 43 what we call overnight or weekend sites. It's reservable by the week, by the night. The one question everybody always asks, because in Shawnee, y'all have been around and y'all have seen, the one thing that you run into is hillsides and small camp spots. And the main question we get asked is, we got a big rig, can we get in? And every site we have, a 50-foot trailer can get in it. And every site, for the most part, is level, flat ground. You don't have to block it up. You don't have to do all that. And that's the one thing we hear is we had one guy one time come here and camp, and he said, wow, I can use my slide out and my awning. And, you know, we just don't want to pack people in like sardines. I didn't want to be packed in when I was camping, and we don't want to do other people that way.
I have heard over and over again the amount of work and upgrades and improvements you have made. It hadn't been easy, has it?
No, we've worked. Deborah and I both still work full-time jobs on top of it, and everybody always says, how do y'all do it? Well, we've got some good permanent campers that help us out from time to time, good friends, and lots of hours. There's lots of nights at 10, 11 o'clock, Deborah's still going over books and reservations, and it's just a lot of effort, but we've made a lot of strides. We've cleaned the place up, put down lots of gravel. We're working on stalls as we speak. We're adding on to the campground because we've already outgrown the campground that we already have, so we're having to add to it. So just a lot of work, a lot of dedication. We had a guy this year that I met 3 years ago at another campground, and we met and rode for a week. And then when we bought the campground, they came here and stayed last spring and last fall. Drove all the way from Texarkana, Texas. And he called me this year. I had back surgery around a month and a half, 2 months ago. And he said, "You've got a big weekend coming up at the end of this month." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, October the 1st, I'm going to be sitting at your campground and I'm staying all month." And he said, "I don't care if I ride a horse." He said, "I'm coming to help you." And he has worked every day from daylight to dark, basically. And it's folks like that that make it worth it. You know, that's a lifetime friendship, and it just goes to show what people mean to you, what you mean to them.
Tell me how you met Jamie.
Oh, we was riding over with some friends of ours. They went to Wrangler Camp over Twin Lakes, and we met up with Jamie over there. I didn't know him at all, and he made 2 or 3 rides with us, and he and I just become friends. And then when he got this, we come up. This would be our 3rd trip up here. And so I come up the 1st of October and decided to come help him after he had his back surgery, and just help him get everything arranged and set up and going. And he's putting in some new campsites, so I've run a track hoe and backhoe and front end loaders and all kinds of stuff for him to try to get this done. Worked on stalls and just general purpose, just cleaning up and working and doing whatever needs to be done. Just keeps on adding to and trying to make things better for the people and the public to come ride. And folks that want to come from anywhere and everywhere are more than welcome, and he'll do anything they can do. Him and Deborah are the greatest people that you'll ever meet, and they'll do anything that they can do to possibly, you know, to satisfy the people that want to come or help them out in any way.
The facilities and all of that is second. The main thing you have to look for when you go to a campground is who runs it. You got to go home and you got to leave your rig, you got to leave your horses for a day or two, you have an emergency. What are the people there going to do to help you? And everybody seems to feel like this is home. This is a wonderful place.
It is a wonderful place. I've been here 15 years and it's like home. Can't imagine being anywhere else.
You realize your family's gotten that big?
At times we do. I was a camper before I was a campground owner. And I told my wife, I said, "Look, if we will just treat people the way we wanted to be treated when we was going camping, we'll be successful." You know, all people want is someone that's accommodating, that's helpful, you know, that never says no, basically, most of the time. And if you look at our reviews the last year and a half, everything you will see online says, owners were accommodating, owners very helpful, owners very nice. And that's what we strive for. You know, if nothing else, we want people to leave here and say, they're good folks.
I admire the bond y'all have. I admire the type of people you are. And anybody watching this show can see exactly who you are. And this is such a great place to come to, and I recommend everybody put this on their schedule to come here. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pleasure having Best of America by Horseback here.
Proud to have you.
Thank you.
For more information on riding and staying with Jamie and Deborah Poe at the Little Lusk Trail Lodge and Campground in Stonefort, Illinois, log on to their website, littleluskcampground.com, or call them at 270-205-7138.
Thank you for watching this episode of Best of America by Horseback. If you'd like to follow our schedule, maybe ride with us, see where we're going, visit our website, www.bestofamericabyhorseback.com, or visit with us on Facebook. Also, if you would like to see past episodes, you may do so on our YouTube channel. Again, thank you so much for watching this week's episode. I'm Tom Seay. We'll see you next week.